Welcome. I'm looking forward to present more about our paper with the title Towards a Framework for Assessing the Quality of Students' Social Scientific Reasoning. My name is Klijnstra. I'm from the University of Amsterdam, and in this research project I worked with my exceptional colleagues Gerrit Stoel, Gerard Ruys, Geert de Savenije and Carla van Bokstel. In social science lessons, students learn to analyze and to reflect on social problems. For example, students may be asked to analyze why the United States has a higher crime rate than Canada or the Netherlands, and students should consider which interventions might reduce crime. These questions are as relevant as they are challenging to answer. Social science education teaches students the knowledge and the skills required to inquire into social problems. This study aims to describe components and levels of upper secondary social science students' reasoning about social problems. We consulted conceptualizations of social scientific reasoning in sociology textbooks and social science education literature. We analyzed students' papers and conducted focus groups with social science teachers educators, to define social scientific reasoning by prophecy levels and identify common flaws. The papers were written by upper secondary social science students from 8 schools in the Netherlands. We defined social scientific reasoning in terms of 3 components: describing, explaining, and solving problems, and 5 more concrete reasoning activities. We described these activities in 3 prophecy levels supported by practical examples and rubrics for students' reasoning. These insights from this study can inform teachers and teacher educators in monitoring students' progression and designing teaching materials and activities that can promote students' social scientific reasoning. Social science education is the key to making sense of the world we live in. Whether it's analyzing the refugee crisis or examining growing inequality, social science helps students tackle the big issues facing society today. In the Netherlands, this school subject is called maatschappijwetenschappen, and it focuses on teaching students to use social science concepts and theories to analyze current social problems and think about potential solutions. However, developing students' reasoning skills is not an easy feat. Research shows that humans tend to reason erratically and make biased decisions, especially when it comes to socio-political issues. That's why it's crucial to develop a framework for assessing the quality of students' social scientific reasoning. Scientific reasoning is the key to unlocking students' potential in different subjects. Whether it's physics, social studies, or any other discipline, students need to learn to define problems, to formulate hypotheses, evaluate evidence, and arrive at logical conclusions. But what about social science education? There has been a lack of conceptualizing what it means to reason scientifically in this domain-specific field. This study aims to fill that gap by developing a framework for assessing the quality of students' social scientific reasoning about social problems. By understanding how students reason about that kind of problems, we can identify areas for improvement and provide them with the tools they need to think critically about the world they are living in, the world around them. So let's unlock the power of social science education and help students make sense of the society they live in. Let's focus on the theoretical framework. Reasoning is a process that helps increase knowledge and make better decisions. In social science education, students engage in reasoning about social problems. These problems involve issues that affect many people and have different viewpoints on their solutions due to the complexity and conflicting values. However, identifying a problem as a social one depends on context and time. For example, crime is considered a social problem as it affects many people, but its perception and approaches may vary across different countries and time periods. In sociology, the study of social problems involved 3 main aspects. It focuses on describing the problems, explaining them by using theories and models, and applying sociological insights to make predictions or develop interventions. In social science education, students are guided to analyze societal issues by describing the problem, identifying its causes and consequences, and proposing solutions. Reasoning about social problems involves various thinking concepts and activities such as analyzing cause and effect, using evidence to make inferences, using abstractions like models and theories, comparing and contrasting perspectives, and evaluating the dimension of the problem. In the context of social science education, students' reasoning about social problems can be categorized into three main components: describing, explaining, and solving. Describing involves understanding the problem and its consequences, and explaining includes analyzing the causes and consequences of the problem using concepts, models, and theories. Solving the problem refers to weighing different perspectives and discussing possible solutions rather than actually resolving it. As you can see in Figure 1, there are 5 distinct reasoning activities that students engage in at different levels. At first, causal analysis involves students understanding the multiple causes and consequences of a problem, and second, the use of evidence requires students to support their claims with relevant proof. Third, the use of social scientific concepts, models, and theories that can help students understand and analyze social problems. The fourth is the use of perspectives and the reflection on them, and that involves considering different viewpoints and evaluate normative and conflicting goals. The fifth is comparing. Comparing is a key component of social scientific thinking and reasoning, where students categorize, describe similarities and differences, and question conclusions. However, previous research illustrates several challenges in each of these reasoning activities. For example, reasoning with multiple causes and consequences can be difficult, as students tend to reason linearly and overestimate the role of human action. The use of evidence can also pose challenges. Applying social scientific concepts, models, and theories in specific context requires students to connect abstract concepts to real-world situations, to the world the students living in. Considering different perspectives and reflecting on personal biases can be complex, especially when emotions and pre-existing views are involved. Lastly, comparing involves categorization and analyzing similarities and differences between contexts. While similar components of reasoning exist in other subjects like history and civic education, social scientific reasoning has its own unique aims and contents. However, empirical insights on the levels of social scientific reasoning about causes, consequences, and the effectiveness of solutions are still limited. The research questions for the study aim to define students' social scientific reasoning activities in concrete terms, distinguish different levels of quality, and develop rubrics to assess students' reasoning. The study aims to validate these conceptualization and assess the quality of students' reasoning in a specific assignment. So in sum, reasoning in social science education involves students engaging in activities such as causal analysis, using evidence, applying concepts and theories, considering perspectives, and making comparisons. These activities help students describe, explain, and propose solutions to social problems. However, challenges exist in each activity, and further research is needed to understand the level of students' social scientific reasoning. So let's focus on the method. The data collection and analysis consists of 4 different phases derived from McKenney and Reeves 2018. At first, the exploration phase, second, the construction phase, third, the validation and reconstruction phase, and fourth, the evaluation phase. In these 4 phases, we randomly selected and analyzed a total of 83 students' papers from a complete set of 388 papers collected during our previous study. These papers are all written by Dutch students in upper secondary social science education, maatschappijwetenschappen, with a mean age of 16. The students come from 8 schools in different areas of the Netherlands, with 8 assignments in which students were challenged to reason about social problems. The rubrics were validated by teacher panels and teacher-educator panels, resulting in 3 rubrics for each component. Let's focus on the results of this study. We developed rubrics for social scientific reasoning based on feedback from focus groups. The rubrics consist of 3 main categories: describing, explaining, and solving social problems. Each category is further divided into subcategories to make the reasoning skills more concrete. For example, comparing different causes of perspective is one subcategory. Here you can see in Table 1 an overview of the reasoning activities and subcategories per rubric. So we developed those rubrics for social scientific reasoning based on the feedback from focus groups. Each category is further divided into those subcategories. And here you can see in Table 3 an example of Rubric 1, which focuses on the describing social problems. We provided descriptions of students' reasoning at 3 levels: beginner level, intermediate level, and the advanced level. So level 1, 2, and 3. For each subcategory, you can see those 3 levels. The first level, beginner, refers to students who have no training in those reasoning skills, but are relatively confident in their abilities. The third level, advanced, represents students who have developed a disciplinary way of reasoning, the highest level of reasoning that we can focus on in this rubric. And the second level, intermediate, falls between the beginner and the advanced levels. So it's level 2. We will illustrate the rubric with 2 examples from causal analysis. First, example 1, the beginning level. We labeled causal analysis at the beginning level when students defined the problem superficially and experienced difficulties with reasoning regarding the use of causes and consequences. At this level, students approach problems typically from one cause, and they found it difficult to reason with more than one cause, with additional causes. Superficial descriptions of social problems were also illustrated when students confused the problem's indicators with its causes. At the beginning level, students confused actors with causes. They were seemingly unaware of unintended consequences and the relative autonomy of social processes. And students interpret causes and consequences as the conscious actions of individuals. Furthermore, students reasoned in terms of laws instead of probabilities and possibilities, and regularly confused causation with correlation and displayed low levels of caution in their reasoning. In several cases, students confused cause and effect, cause and consequences, or did not describe how the causes contributed to the problem. You can see in example 1 that they link obesity and health conditions that are caused by education level. So they only focus on one cause of the problem, possible cause of the problem. There's little reservation in their reasoning, which is illustrated in this example. These students do not reason in terms of probability of being more stressed if you are less educated, but rather in terms of laws and certainties. When explaining the problem, the advanced level of causal analysis was reached when students included several causes. When a distinction is made between different types of causes, such as the different angles, the socio-economic angle or the socio-cultural angle. When a distinction is made in scale levels, micro, meso, macro. And when they describe links between cause and consequences in a nuanced way. So when students describe links in probabilities, they recognize that social developments, trends, are context-specific and changeable. And when they focus on the direction and strength of certain connections between causes and consequences. And when they focus on possible intervening causes and the distinction between them. When students discussed one or more solutions, the advanced level of causal analysis is reached when they explained how a solution contributes to preferred situation and how the solution matches the causes of the problem. So it's quite complex. In example 3 illustrates causal analysis at that third level, the advanced level. The links between causes and consequences are described in a nuanced way. The links are described in probabilities. This is probably because, and consideration is also given to the different types of causes: income inequality, age, living together or not. The list of reasoning flaws and naive ways of reasoning was essentially created as a first step in constructing the rubrics to arrive at the level description, to define the first level of social scientific reasoning. Nevertheless, we see it as a valuable output of the study because little research has been done in the weaknesses, the flaws, the students' flaws in their reasoning about social problems. Based on the analysis of the students' papers, we identified 18 different reasoning flaws. You can see in table 5 an overview of those flaws. So Students cannot explain why a possible solution might work or explain the underlying mechanism, theory, or model. Students make false appeals to authority. Students reason on overly simplistic levels about and with social scientific concepts. We label that as concept dropping, and so on and so on. This study aimed to identify and assess students' social scientific reasoning in a specific assignment by defining concrete behaviors and levels of quality. The subject-specific elaboration of reasoning within social science education provides teachers with valuable tools to apply in their teaching. This study has described what performances at different levels looks like, allowing for the assessment of reasoning quality. 3 levels of reasoning were defined for each sub-activity of reasoning, at beginning, intermediate, and advanced level. It also resulted in the identifying of 18 flaws in students' social scientific reasoning. These findings align with earlier research on adult reasoning and the role of causal and complexity in students' understanding of science. However, the study has also limitations. The rubrics were not validated by having teachers use them, which could provide more insights into the usability and the clarity for teaching practice. Further research could focus on different populations, such as first-year sociology students, and develop educational materials for teachers' professional growth in teaching social scientific reasoning skills. The implications for practice are significant. The identified flaws in students' reasoning and rubrics can guide the design of educational materials and activities to improve reasoning skills. Teachers can use those rubrics to diagnose students' reasoning levels and formulate appropriate learning goals and assignments. The rubric also serves as a guide for students, helps them understand what is needed to improve the reasoning. In conclusion, this study provides a validated theoretical model of student social scientific reasoning structured into a rubric that assesses reasoning quality. It highlights the activities relevant to social scientific reasoning and their variation across those 3 levels. The insights from the study contribute to the understanding of social scientific reasoning and its challenges for students. Developing these reasoning skills is crucial for fostering a more robust and functional democracy. I'd like to thank you for listening to this presentation, and if you would like to have any additional information, please feel free to get in touch. Thank you very much for your attention.